welcome back everyone to DBDLeague. This is the winter circuit, and honestly it feels like we didn't really take a break. AHL just ended and brought so many exciting games to us, and when we are looking at the roster of teams that we are having here in this winter circuit, 24 overall that are trying to make it and catching the crown here early in 2024, it is going to be such an exciting tournament ahead. And with me for the opening game is our tournament analyst. Let's introduce Tobi first. Welcome in, my friend.
Hello there. I'm glad to be back. I'm excited for a new competitive season of DBD, and let's see how this tournament is starting. We got a lot of exciting teams in from all regions all across the world, and I'm pretty happy we are so versatile with our teams this tournament.
But now it's time to go into our a little bit extended campfire chat that we have today. We were thinking usually we are throwing you all into the tournament, and then there are a lot of questions about the teams that are joining the stage this time, the rule changes, and we want to avoid this in the winter circuit, so we are here and giving you a little bit of a better welcome and a little bit more information. For that, we set ourselves the goal that we are wrapping up All Hallows League first. We have a few stats that we should go over and maybe a few learnings even that we can take from the All Hallows League. With all of these challenges that we had, so many unique killers on weird maps, you could even say sometimes. We had some very wild combinations. Now we are bringing it very soon back to the winter circuit where it's more restricted. We only have 3 options now on the killers. We are introducing a new system of the picks and bans this time. We heard your feedback. You really love the variation on the maps that we have seen in the All Hallows League. You enjoyed that we are no longer saying this specific killer, for example, the nurse, must be played on this specific map, for example, the Coal Tower, and then you're watching nurse on Coal Tower 1 over and over again for the entire tournament. But we also heard your critique specifically on the grand final of All Hallows League, that it can be boring and repetitive when the teams are agreeing that, for example, Wrecker's Yard is the best map to play on, and then you are having 4 sets back to back where you play Wraith on Wreckers, and then Baba on Wreckers, and then Trapper on Wreckers, and soon we can all move into Wreckers, build our beds, and chill there forever. So in the winter circuit, we are introducing a system where every killer has 3 maps he or she can be played on. So, for example, we're going to take a look together on our Discord server where I'm very cheerfully inviting you right now, !Discord, and you can check all the information. And when you are there clicking on the Blight, you will see that Blight can be played on Fractured Cowshed, Mount Ormond Resort 3, or the Ormond Lake Mine. Now, when a team is picking the killer Blight, the other team can ban 1 map where they say, I absolutely don't want to play the Blight on this map. And the team that selected the Blight can select or pick basically from the 2 remaining maps. This is how it works. And now you would say, but if, for example, Mount Ormond 3 is picked and the next killer also has Mount Ormond 3, isn't it still creating some duplicate maps during the best of 5, 7, 3, whatever we are going to play? The answer to that is no, because big shout out now to We1 and our rule committee. They have cooked up a very special system. Once the Mount Ormond resort is already selected for the best of 5, it becomes unavailable for all the other killers, and instead a backup map is rotating in, so the teams can still select from 3 maps, but we will never, almost never, see duplicated maps in the same match. In a best of 7, we cannot promise it, because there it's possible that a lot of options start to be crossed out, and maybe in a very rare combination in a best of 5 when we are talking about specific killers. But in an overwhelming majority of the games, you should be able to witness a great game that has never a duplicated map throughout the best of 5. Exciting news, Ebony Moris are now allowed. How fun is that? They're going back into this yeah, you can almost say the expected environment, right? So we can also expect from the teams the peak performance again. There's no longer an excuse such as, oh, we were surprised by the map that we have seen, something didn't work out so much. So the room of mistakes that we could allow in the All Hollows League due to all these flexible factors is now completely removed again, and we should see this bring it very much down to the mind games, to the individual skill of every player here, and it will be a very nice comparison here. Maybe now switching to Tobi, our we could call him the statistic hero, and a big announcement at the beginning. Basically, whenever you are having questions about perks, about strategies, about teams, you should join our Discord server. You can ping tournament analyst in the general chat. You can ask your question. I promise you, Tobi can literally answer everything because he's tracking everything. Tobi, you have some interesting stuff from AHL gathered together. Maybe you can just introduce us to that a little bit.
Not only AHL, but I took the time to wrap up the whole year because we had 3 major tournaments last year. We had the Winter Circuit at the beginning, Season 9 in the middle, and followed up by the All Hollows League at the end of the year. And just to give you a small stat, we have seen a lot of nurse plays in the last competitive year. 66 times the nurse was picked and selected in all of our tournaments. So we saw a lot of nurse, for example. This is not including all of the rematches. If you remember, we had quite a few of them because nurse was popular for tying the score at 4K1. And this is just like a small stat towards the right direction for the upcoming Winter Circuit. But another small fun set, we had more than 6,000 hooks last year. Survivors got downed more than 6,000 times and were hooked on the maps. And yeah.
It's interesting to me that you say that we have seen so many nurses. This is something that really sticks out. And I feel so as well. The nurse has a very interesting history in comp in general. A lot of years ago, she was the killer that you had to play comp with, basically. And then it was a long goodbye to the nurse. We were focusing in the community a lot on the M1 killers. Oni made a huge comeback. Billy, all these killers. And then Season 9 AHL nurse coming back, and now here today in the Winter Circuit, very careful picking on the nurse. In the first match, we don't see her at all. Then later on, we have at least the Billy Spirit and Blight, so there doesn't seem to be the fear of the S-tier killers. Yet the nurse has to wait until another day. Maybe discussing that real quick, do you have any idea where it's coming from that the teams are feeling comfortable, it seems like, with picking the Blight, Billy, even the Spirit, even though she has also a troubling past with all of her sound issues recently, but the nurse is being avoided a little bit more? Has there been a change recently?
I do think there has been a change recently, but teams more gravitated, especially in AHL, to other killers, and they are starting to picking up new sets. Maybe it has something to do with the balancing we have for this tournament. The killers we have are pretty... I don't know how to exactly say it, but they're pretty different in how you approach the trials. We even have pick in our balancing, and we will sooner or later see teams pick it, but I don't think a lot of teams want to play nurse sets because we once again have a little bit more restrictions than we used to in AHL, for example, and this might be the reason the teams more gravitate towards other ST killers or other killers in general.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I think the community is exploring killers like never before. Yeah, I think this is an important thing, right? Everyone heard it now. The Houndmaster is part of AHL, and we are therefore also forcing the teams into trying this new stuff. We are having the Dracula, Dark Lord, instantly into the tournaments when he came out. Houndmaster is now introduced. Tobi mentioned it earlier. Even the pig is now in the balance, a killer that was in the past years always pretty much thrown out of any tournament for a good reason, because there is some RNG involved, but now we are on a state where we can say, okay, there is an RNG factor, but we can force the teams into playing around it, and we can expect that they can handle the challenge here. So even these killers that we thought for a long time are not going to be in the DBDLeague stage are now making their way here. Maybe Tobi, when we are looking on AHL and now drifting slowly towards the winter circuit, do you have numbers or interesting facts that reveal some challenges or some tasks for our competitors here? What they should be aware of, what they better take care of, or anything that we should be aware of when we are judging the team's performance in winter circuit?
I mean, the main factor should be regional differences, because we have a lot of teams from all around the world which might play differently according to their home region. And the change from AHL to Winter Circuit also includes we have a new map pick and ban system. The balance is a bit more strict, but mostly the regional differences. We have even a Chinese representative, which is completely new to any DBD League tournament we had prior. And they are bringing a unique playstyle for certain. All of the Eastern teams play a little bit different than we are used to here in the West. And I think the regional difference could upset a lot of Western teams, because they are not used to maybe the pace or the way some of the teams are playing.
That's a very important factor. Now you mentioned one big thing already for the winter circuit when we are talking about the changes. We are expanding even further. We had a representative team from Japan in the All Hallows League. Now we are graduating a team from China to make it into the winter circuit here. They are going to play next weekend, and it will be very interesting. We have found out, to everyone who is very worried about the ping, the servers in China are actually not too bad, at least compared to the fact that we have SA and NA West included into our tournaments anyway. And since we are allowing our players to help themselves a little bit with exit lag to improve their connection, it is not going to be a significant worse connection. So a tournament play is still possible. So stay tuned.